Hi, Cashflow Portal followers. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you know, Perry wrote his first line of code on April 8th, 2020. Now that we are a full year older and Perry has graduated from YC, I have the honor to pick his brains with a lightning round of questions. Before I do so, wanted to turn it over to Perry to give the audience a quick intro of himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Perry Zheng, and I'm the founder and CEO of Cashflow Portal. We are 2 years old, and my background is I was an engineering manager at Lyft. Before that, I was a software engineer at Twitter and Amazon. I started the company moonlighting about 2 years ago, and 6 months ago, I went full time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So you are part of YC batch winter 2022. Now that you graduated, how does it feel?
It feels a little bit hungover from a lot of the intensity and humbling experience. There are, 2 points want to make. One is people have asked me why did I still go to YC even though we raised a lot of money, and I can honestly say that it was totally worth it. Even though you give 7% of your company away by going to YC, regardless of what valuation cap your company is in, it was very useful because it eliminated a lot of the questions that I always have. Whether I should do sales or marketing, what should I do in this situation, and so on and so forth. The other thing that is humbling was I told my parents that in terms of traction, talent, um, just founder impressiveness, market size, I'm probably in the bottom 25 percentile across all four categories. But that's exactly what I should be to learn from the people that I think are better than me. So, and then the last thing I felt that was super helpful about YC that made it intense and kind of relatable is every week there are founders from top, multi-billion dollar companies like Airbnb and Stripe and so on that come in and speak. And when they speak also on Zoom call, it makes it relatable. It makes it feel like, oh, these are just my peers. They're not any more eloquent than I am. They don't necessarily speak any different language than I do. They just normal people that they are literally in front of me and can ask them questions. It makes everyone feel like they can do what those founders do. They're just regular people. So that was very helpful.
Seems like you got a lot of value out of YC. I know that being an entrepreneur can be a very lonely world, very hard as well with challenges, but seems like you're able to, find other founders and kind of ask them questions to grow and develop your company more. What is that one word you will use to describe your YC experience? And it can only be one word.
It'll be humbling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Humbling experience.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, Out of curiosity, I know lots of founders have they devote so much time and dedication to their company. And I wanted to get your thoughts on how do you balance running a growing company with your personal life? I know you love dogs and coffee. How do you keep it balanced?
I don't think there is a balance. It's not so much the amount of work. Now, I'm a solo founder, so there is a lot of physical work that I have to do. So, to give you an example, I will travel a lot because I go to real estate conferences, and that's one way that I do things that don't scale. Go to real estate conferences, and I will be landing, and have some YC meetup, YC virtual meetup that I have to attend, and then there's the roadmap, there's the one-on-one, there is the conference itself, and then there is closing some candidate in the middle of a conference. I go back to my hotel room and close some candidate. Then there is the website has some bugs, and so I'm like looped in because I am also part of doing a lot of the technology part as well. I don't write any code, but I'm very involved with the technical aspects of our company. So physically, there is just so much more work that I can handle, And honestly, that's one of the nice things about having a co-founder is that you can delegate some of that work. Thankfully, the team has grown and team has become more mature to give some of that work away, and that people are really good. So I trust them a lot. So slowly, I give a lot of things away. Now, in terms of so that's the physical part of the work. The emotional part is a little bit worse, I think, is is that you can really turn your mind. You cannot shut down my mind. I cannot shut down my mind because when I wake up, it used to be that when I wake up that I wish today I didn't have to go to work. But nowadays, when I wake up, I don't think about whether I should go to work. I I think about all the things I need to do. And then that got me a little bit excited, but a little bit anxious. So I naturally just got out of bed. So I could not turn off this brain because I'm always worried about something. It's like analogy is you have a 5 month old baby and you cannot turn your mind off on the baby because you don't know what will happen next. Um, yeah, so that takes a toll on you. And on the way I cope with it is not go on vacations and completely forget about it. I actually really appreciate the afternoon on a Saturday off where I can just walk around the lake, do nothing but to think. But even during that time, I have so many ideas, and I will use my Apple Watch or whatnot to write down all the notes, all the ideas that I have. So yeah, so I actually appreciate that afternoon of free time more than a extended vacation.
This transitions to my next question. You
Mhm,
mentioned in your seed round that you have reservations of selling your company, but do have aspirations of going IPO. So just like a
mhm,
baby, 5 years old, you have to take care
mhm.
of it, and then once it becomes a lot older, you're able to be a little bit more hands off. So I guess out of curiosity, who would be the first person you call when the day happens that you are, IPO your company?
Mm, Probably my parents. Yeah, definitely my parents. That's the first person I will call and just text and just making sure. And then after that, it's uh, my family when I have a family. So yeah, so that's that. And then after that, I do have an extensive support group of friends. I have like two or three support groups. Like one is consists of my college friends. One consists of like the people who have helped me along the way. And then the other one is just like my Seattle friends. And sometimes when I have some big news, I will share, selectively with different support groups, and they cheer me on. They're happy. They're investors as well. So so yeah. But the first thing is probably my parents.
Definitely lots and lots of parties based on all of the circles of friends you have. Um, you mentioned that you permed your hair and you changed your clothes based on some of the feedback you received and your willingness and dedication to do what's needed for your company. So, out of curiosity, where do you picture yourself in exactly 1 year from today when CFP will be 3 years old?
Yeah, great question. So to give some context about what Christina said, during my first call with YC, they say, Perry, if you have less than 1 million potential customers, you do sales instead of marketing. That one single sentence is helps me eliminate what I should be doing for the next 6 months, because I always wonder if I should do sales and marketing, right? And they say you do sales instead of marketing. I say I don't like sales. I'm not good at sales. I like building products, and I'm not good with sales. They say it doesn't matter. You do sales. I said fine. So and went out and perm my hair. I used to act. And also on some calls, my camera angle is not directly in front of me, it's on the side. So I always not talking directly into the camera or like facing to the camera. And I was wearing my Duke sweater in those demo calls. I act and feel like a technical nerd that just in my bedroom and coding away, even though I don't code. And one of the friend syndicators customers said that, Perry, just a word of advice: dress nicer. See all your teammates dress much nicer than you do. I said, fine, you're right. So I went out and changed my wardrobe. I have those wardrobe. It's just I want to be comfortable at home. Now I dress nicer for demos. So that's the context. Um, and your question is, what will CFP look like a year from now? I think this is a true statement where you don't nobody really people say, oh, and this is a lesson for the entrepreneurs. A lot of people say, I don't know if I have what it takes to create a company. Well, I can tell you that I also don't know what it takes, and I still don't have a clue on if this becomes a larger company, how I would deal with a leadership board. I don't know how to deal with a board member, or my executive team, or how to manage managers of managers of managers. I know how to manage engineers and managers, but I don't know how to manage like directors, right? So there's a lot of imposter syndrome for sure. So, and but one great thing that people said to me was that if this is a big company, you are going to change regardless, because you will change. And so I might just get used to change. And so far, I have seen that I'm willing to change myself to serve the company better, even though sales is not in my DNA, quote unquote. I will change my identity to feel like I can communicate better. And if the company needs me to manage more people, I will manage more people. If company wants me to be less hands on, I will be less hands on if that serves the company better. So so a year from now, I hope that we are a more not a mature company. I don't like the word mature. I I think we are more self-regulating. That we don't. I can go on vacation and the company still survives for extended period of time, and that the the team members are in direct facing the customers. And so if the customers have any issues, they can trickle back, so that the virtuous cycle is between the team members and the customers. So the team members, and including the product manager, can see what are the pain points. Right now is that the team members have a lot of trust in me, so they understand that what I communicate is on behalf of the customers. But that is that the extra hurdle of communication is not needed, so they can be talking to each other, and which we are currently doing anyway. So um yeah, yeah. And the company, will grow, and it will be a lot more exciting. We have feature parity in basically every aspect. Now it's just innovating and doing things that people are not willing to do, which is going a step further in terms of product. um, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but there's one more point, which is I used to believe that the best product wins. While that's still a true statement, I now really understand a customer doesn't just want a great product, they want a great experience. It has to be holistic. And what I mean by that is there is this restaurant called Din Tai Fung in Seattle. They're like a Shanghainese dumpling place. The soup is great, but they also have amazing decor. They have amazing servers. They're hardcore in their customer service. And I know some of the people who work there, they're like, yeah, the management is like strict. It's very different from any other dumpling place. So it's like another classic example is Google. People who work at Google just retire at Google because it's got decent food, great engineering culture, great work, amazing teammates. So it's like 9 out of 10 on everything. There's no bad vertical of Google in when it comes to engineering satisfaction, right? So what I if we just have a good product, it's equivalent to a restaurant that only has good food but shabby on customer service and everything else. So me dressing up, in the Duke hoodie on this demo course is the equivalent of running a mom and pop restaurant, even though we have great food. So that's what I learned is that customers don't just want a great product; they want a great experience, and that means building a world class organization that just makes people have no counterpoints to customer service, to support, to the way we communicate, to the way we message, to our Facebook groups, to our um, pages, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's not easy to build. So, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
It definitely does make sense. Thank you so much for providing the analogy of like restaurant, the whole experience instead of just like great food. I'm sure everyone would prefer a restaurant that has 9 out of 10 with everything rather
Hmm.
than just good food.
Hmm.
One of the points you mentioned in terms of changing identity, but resonates with a lot of syndicators based on some of the interviews. They mentioned, they're an employee and they, to get out their comfort zone to reach their goal, they have to change other people's perspective of them as not just a son, an employee, staff, but actually like, a person who they trust and can actually run the syndication deals. So in order to grow, you have to get out of your comfort zone. That's something I'm learning through you by just watching you be, kind of show leadership through our team.
Hmm.
Second to last question is what makes you smile at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think it's definitely seeing people grow. So I a little bit of, for the audience, we hire pretty junior engineers, fresh out of college, and we hire folks who are super senior, like top 10% on staff engineer, which is like one of the highest levels. And people ask me, why don't you hire people with 5, 6 years of experience? Why do you want to hire fresh grads? That's like a liability to the company. And while I can say that productivity wise, the junior engineers have actually more to contribute because they're hungrier, they have nothing to lose. And there's this philosophy that you don't hire people who have made it. You hire people who are going to make it, but they don't know they have made it yet. And they usually have more chips on their shoulders. So that's the types of folks I like to hire. But deep inside, I hired the fresh grads because I really, really like to see people grow. That was the thing when I was an engineer manager at Lyft, where we promote a lot of people. And some folks also said that I'm the best manager they had. So I really like to see that they that I believe in something. I believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And once they achieve something to give evidence that they are actually really good, they will believe the evidence, and that micro positive reinforcement will get stronger and stronger to the point that one day I hope that they are formidable engineers and employees that they can quit the company and start their own company. I like that. So what does a specific example mean? A specific example is I will be equity raising, I'll be fundraising, and the whole day will be blocked with my own meetings, and there will be a lot of support tickets come in. So then the account manager will handle the support ticket, give it to an engineer. Engineer will figure out the root cause. The engineer will respond with the answer, and the account manager will relay that answer. And the engineer will figure out a roadmap item to have a short-term fix because the long-term fix will take a long time. And they have an intuitive sense of the company roadmap such that they can make the right decision. So when people make right decisions and can think outside of the box, and even if it's not what I would have done, I understand the logic of making the decision. That makes my day. That's like, wow, the company is growing up to be a teenager, and this is going the right direction. Yeah. So seeing people grow, seeing people mature, and seeing people that people know when they achieve something they thought were not possible, and that you cannot take that away from them. And I want to give more and more of that feeling. It's a little bit of the tiger mom, the hymns of the tiger mom, right? Where you ask them to practice piano. It's hard, it's not possible. And once they achieve it, they're like, wow, okay, I guess next time when I see something that I thought were not possible, I need to rethink to myself whether it's possible. I've been the beneficiary of managers and directors who believe in me more than I believe in myself. And I had rough edges like everyone else where I was very stubborn and once not. But everyone can improve. And so I really appreciate managers who believe in me more than I believe in myself.
Wow, words from a true leader. Definitely growth. I feel like after working with you and Shelly and the team, I definitely grown in terms of thinking outside the box, and hearing how you view things is very inspiring, very methodical. As with me, I'm more like write everything down, very sporadic. But I think with you, when I ask you a lot of questions and advice and guidance, you're like very methodical on like how things should be executed.
Mm.
I guess my last question would be, I don't have a last question, but more of anything you want to share with the audience as a celebratory message for the company turning 1 year older, and then, graduating from YC. Two big milestones for you. Any last words?
Yeah. From a product perspective, I'm very excited about the marketplace. I think that is something that we are going to double down on. Ultimately, the goal is, you know, our our ultimate customers are every real estate investor. We want to serve them. We want to help them achieve financial freedom through real estate investing. At this point, I could retire and I can live comfortably and still do my syndication. So the goal of me creating the company is to have more people taste that financial freedom. And it's a liberating feeling because once you have financial freedom, your work is no longer your work. Your work becomes your interest. Like even if you work at a W-2, you know that this is a means to an end, and that you find more meaning to it. It turned out that when you become more interested and when you don't have everything to lose in your job, you become more productive because you know how this job can translate into your overall life. So I firmly believe that financial freedom is a good thing, and we want more people to achieve it. And for most of people in tech in Silicon Valley and like coastal cities, you don't have enough time to buy a real estate yourself. It actually makes more money. It makes more money and a higher ROI in terms of time and money actually to be a limited partner in someone else's syndication. However, when it comes to syndication, one of the biggest things is trust. You don't really know how to trust someone because, but trust is something that technology can help facilitate. It doesn't replace trust, but there's a lot of information breeds trust and technology breeds information. So we hope that technology is a very good vehicle to increase that trust. And trust is in many forms in terms of track record, in terms how the syndicators have failed and how they did in their previous deals, in terms of in the future we will have reviews, and so on. And the last thing I want to say is none of this is easy. If you talk to me, a year ago, and we are a investor portal that wants to be a marketplace, everybody tells me that it's a career suicide. Like you're not gonna get customers, and any customer you have will vanish because they don't want their investors to be poached. I heard you. Like that's fine. That also agree with that. But what if you climb over that mountain and look at the other side? Every one of the LPs will have a transparent, trustworthy platform that they can make educated decisions. Now you can argue that the company could die before we get to see that rainbow, which is fair. But it's important enough that we don't mind dying along the way if we can achieve that vision. Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I have very large goals for the marketplace as well. And I see the rainbow. I don't see us dying anytime soon.
Sure.
So, as a team, we'll definitely get to the other side and see the pot of gold on the other side.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Perry, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you.